Hello, and welcome to Adam's Ale. I'm Adam, and this is my ale. Today, I'm going to take you on a bit of a tour of all the fish that I keep. I'll also do a little bit of a feeding so you can see how much I feed them and check out how wonderfully active they can get when they get fed. On the channel, if you're new here, we'll be doing streams of fish, advice, and tricks on how to keep the aquarium in a healthy and happy condition, and therefore make you in a healthy and happy condition. Disclaimer, not all the tanks do have fish in, and I'll explain a bit why when we get there. I hope you enjoy your stay. This at a glance is my fish room. You can see my cats chilling outside while I am recording. Don't worry, they'll be let in soon. But I stay in a small bachelor apartment, so space is really a necessity sometimes. You can see I've got a little office where I set up, do work, game, all of those kind of things over there. And then in the surrounding area, I have my fish tanks. I've got two small tanks on this side, two larger ones where I keep my bigger fish or community fish. And then, if we look over here, my rack has about 6 tanks on it. I also have a small pond outside, but that's more or less what we'll be dealing with today. In total, inside the house, I have 6, 8, 10 tanks, which is pretty impressive. If we include the pools outside, it would be around 12 in total. It's pretty hard to maintain that many, and that's the major reason why some of them aren't functioning right now, or at least they don't have fish in, just because they're not as maintained. We'll go through them one by one, and I will show you exactly how everything is fed. This is one of my smallest tanks. It's a 30 centimeter, and it houses some pygmy cories, 2 dwarf Mexican crayfish, and 1 otter cinchlus, which you can see very clearly in this shot. There is 1 guppy in here as well, but she's currently hiding. She is the oldest of the last guppies that I owned, so she's seen better days. This tank isn't heated at the moment. In South Africa, the temperature is stable enough for it not to drop too low. We are going into winter, and if it does look like it's going to be getting too low, I will be adding a heater, but for now, they're quite content to not be. Let's see if I can find some of the crayfish and pygmies for you. Oh, there's the guppy. Alright, you've got 2 pygmy kois in the background there. And both of my crayfish are hiding under the filter. You can just see the outline over there of it looming menacingly. Unfortunately, feeding this tank won't be too exciting. It's just some sinking pellets that the crayfish and the pygmies and the otter will eventually find and start nomming on. Drop. The next tank we have is also a 30 centimeter right next to it, and it currently just contains some fry in. Let me pause the video here. Quickly take a guess what type of fry in here. Only clue is there is no heat in this tank. It's definitely not a tropical fish. Cool. You may have guessed it, but these are Danio fry and white cloud minnow fry. I got it from a breeder in the area, and I just wanted to raise them. I currently only have 1 white cloud in a different tank, and I would love for that white cloud to have a better school. I've only had them for about a week now, but I absolutely love them. There's about 20 fry in this tank. You can see them if you look closely, and you can see them darting around. They're also not very quick on food, but let's see if we can get any good reactions. For food, I'm just going to take some sinking pellets and some dry food and crunch it up so that it's small enough for them to eat. Drop it through the top, and we should be able to see them come and eat. Crunch, crunch, smash, smash. Remembering to make it small enough so that they can all eat. You won't be able to see much, but they'll definitely see it and eat it later, especially when they start smelling it. You can see the stripes that'll turn into more pronounced white cloud minnows eventually. And then the zebra danios are a little bit more darty, as I realize food's there. Since we're going from smallest to biggest, this is the next tank, and it's a 60 centimeter. This one does have a heater, and I am growing out some bristlenose plecos. You can see some albinos sucking on the glass, and some in the substrate. There are 5 normal bristlenose plecos in here, and 5 albinos. I got them from a breeder, different one to the last one, and I've been rearing them for the last 2-3 days, so they're very new to this tank. You can see it looks a little bit green, and that's because I did let some algae grow in here. They do have snails as companions, and I will be dropping some sinking food in now, and let's see if we can all get them sucking on one little piece. This large algae wafer is more than I would typically feed them, but I'll just remove whatever they don't finish. Let's give it a bit of a jostle. And there it goes, almost taking out an albino on the way down. We'll leave it there for about 5 minutes, and I guarantee you there'll be some bristlenose on it when we get back. Next we have one of my favorite tanks, and it's my favorite not because of the decor, which is obviously a bit lacking, just a piece of wood, but the fish in here are completely gorgeous. I've got one Jack Dempsey, electric blue. You'll be able to see it better when it goes into the light and when I do some close-ups. And then the rest are all polypetras, or as they're also known, bisher or biker fish. Specifically, there are 2 rope fish in here, 3 Senegal, and 1 ornate bisher. There's also a common pleco, and they all chill in this tank together. I tried to take away most of the decorations just so that they can have some space, although I would like to add some smooth rocks because I feel like they really would benefit from just having a bit of hiding space. Also, the tank does look a little bit bland. I'll take you out for a close look for each species. So here we have the Senegals. I would say they're your standard fishes that you get in aquariums. They can go in normal community aquariums. They're very slow, very chilled. Slow moving fish will get caught and eat, or could get caught and eat. I never want to take that chance, so they have their own tank. Next is the rope fish, a lot more common as well, but it is definitely a type of polypetras or bisher. I love how long and weird these guys look, completely alien, fantastic. The large one in the background is my ornate polypetras. He is the biggest and the most gorgeous. Look at those scales that he has. Oh, he camouflages really well with the substrate here. Here is my electric blue Jack Dempsey. Quite a gorgeous specimen. Look at how lovely his colors just pop out. See a little bit of debris flying around, so maybe this tank needs a bit of a clean, but our water change day is tomorrow, so maybe join us for that. This 1.2 tank takes a lot of different fish food because of the variety of fish in here. We'll start with a sinking algae wafer for the Pleco, some sinking carnivore pellets for the rest, and also some cichlid pellets, which the Jack Dempsey will pick at, and eventually they will sink to the bottom if they are uneaten. This tank also does get frozen food and live food sometime, and by live food I mean completely insect. I don't do feeder fish or things of the like. We don't have anything too special today, but maybe tune in next time for a little bit of a show. This is my last tank, and I'm going to maneuver the camera a lot here just so that you can get a nice look around. This is my community tank. It's filled with lots of peaceful fish, generally. And it's honestly one of my favorites. It's really grown on me. I mean that because of the plants that have flourished in here, and because I've always been a fan of big fish, but something about seeing the schooling fish together and living in a community, it looks fantastic. I must say I really enjoy watching all the fish school, and I will give you a big breakdown of what's in this tank now. So, schooling fish include the Harlequin Rasporas, that will be pointed out on stream, the rummy-nose tetras, and then there's also Osmani rainbows. Let's get a nicer look. Still a bit of a small boy, he'll get bigger eventually. And there's a female. Got a singular angelfish. He will be getting some friends soon, but he'll be moving out of this tank because he's getting a bit big, and he can be very feisty when there's food involved. We have a GMO Blackskirt Tetra. It's pink at the back. There's only one, unfortunately, in this tank. It was a friend's who was taking down his aquarium, and eventually, hopefully, I'll either give him to someone with other black skirts, or I will get some more black skirts myself, because I don't like seeing him by himself. Shame. There's one white cloud minnow. He'll get some friends once the fry grow up. Here's my African bushfish. Slowly, very shy guy. Excuse me, Mr. Angel. Coming out from behind the wood. Does hide most of the time. Eats a bit more when it is darker. Some cories in the background. I believe they're called leopard cories. They're not stir-by. I'm trying to think of the official name, and I'm sure I'll put it in the comments when I do remember. There are 4 mollies in here as well. They just came out of a different tank, and they had quite a tough time. They were a bit diseased, but they're slowly recovering. Over there. The last thing in this tank that you can't really see, because he's an expert of hiding, and there's so much vegetation. There is a half-banded spiny eel in here, but he is currently hiding. Sometimes hides in the substrate as well. Definitely comes out for food. Although he can be very picky and will only take really bloodworms. Well, let's get some food in this tank. This is definitely one of the more fun tanks to watch. This tank is extremely unfussy. We'll get some fish flakes. Some protein. One of my favorite things to feed the fish is Viber Bites, so throw in a bit of extra Viber Bites today. And a sinking pellet for the cories. Throw it a bit in the background so it doesn't get stolen by something big. Did you get caught in that plant? Nope. Landed at the bottom. Fantastic. I'll just leave it there for a bit. The scene is so beautiful that I'm gonna leave it up. This is, as I said, one of my favorite tanks. Completely gorgeous, so active. Just really takes your breath away sometimes. Thank you for tuning in to Adam's Ale. I really appreciate you stopping by, having a look at us, and checking out all the fish. Fish keeping is a fantastic hobby, and I hope you'll check around my other videos and see what else I have to offer. There will be lots of tips, lots of tricks that I've learned over the course of fish keeping myself, as well as some educational stuff around the fish themselves. Oh, there's the eel. Do you see him? He's pretty keen to find some food. Wow, he seems to be... Okay, side note, he was solely eating bloodworms, but he seems to be quite interested in other food nowadays, so this is really cool to see. He's really adjusted really well into this aquarium. He came in quite recently. He was in a different tank that had a bit of a meltdown. Very, very weird circumstance that I'll explain in a different video, but I'm so glad that he's healthy. Anyway, thank you again for dropping by. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please drop a like, drop a comment, and I'll definitely try and read through all of them. Thank you for tuning in. Hello. Hello there. I'm today Adam. For food, I'm just our single most normal fish in this pond that we call an aquarium.